Welcome to Sunset Rewind. My name is Dale Thayer. We have a special guest today, Coach Torribio, Newport Harbor varsity basketball coach. We're expanding a bit from football. We've seen a lot of football content come out of the studio. It's time we expand into other sports, basketball being one of them. And what a great sport it is. Welcome, Coach.
Mr. Thayer, thanks for having us. Really appreciate Sunset Rewind supporting the local sports, and I know on behalf of Newport Boys Basketball, we're excited to be here, and I know the other sports programs will love this experience as well.
Maybe you can share with us how you got into coaching, kind of your journey as a player and a coach.
I've been in Newport Harbor for 23 years now. I was an assistant coach, which felt like forever. It was 10 years as an assistant coach, and we've been in charge of the program for 13. Don't ask me when that happened or how that happened. I know I'm not young, but I'm also not old just yet either. So I've been very fortunate to have had a great mentor in Larry Hirst, who we took over for 13 years ago. Coach Hirst is the winningest coach in the history of Newport Harbor High School boys basketball. Taught me a lot about being a basketball coach, about being a teacher, about being a father, about being a husband. And I can't thank him enough for guiding me to the point in time where 13 years ago, the administration was fortunate enough to hand things over to us. Philosophy-wise, 10 years as an assistant coach felt like a long time. I felt like we were ready to take over. And when we took over, there was interesting times, to say the least, at Newport Harbor boys basketball. And what we thought was the most important thing for our athletes that we have come through is that they're competitive and that they're unselfish. That was what we started with 13 years ago, and it's still the most important part of our program today. I'd like to think that if you ask any freshman, maybe not the freshman team, but certainly the varsity guys, and we hope the juniors or we hope the JV players, that they know that what two things Newport Harbor boys basketball players are is that we're competitive and we're unselfish.
Yes. And you went to Newport Harbor High School.
I did.
And you played there.
Yeah, there wasn't, when you wanted to ask about my playing career, there wasn't much to it. It was very short, so there wasn't a whole lot to add to that right there. But I went to Newport Harbor, played for two different coaches, and then Coach Hirst actually got the job the year after I graduated. So the playing career, not much there.
Well, I think you had some success there because I see you held a record for a while. I think it was for
I had a night,
consecutive
like some people do in their lives. I had one night where the ball went in for me a few times, and it happened to make it to the record book, and it's still there.
Well,
but it's ready to be broken. Maybe it'll get broken tonight by one of our guys.
Yeah. I think it went in 6 times in a row from 3. Is that right?
It did. I should have shot a 7th.
Does that record still stand, or someone beat it?
It does for most threes made in the game without a miss. But we've had several players hit 9. Coach Chance Beecham, who used to coach with us a little bit, hit 9 in a game, and then he hit 7 in another game, and then I think Chad Stasel hit 7 in a game, I think. So we've had a few shooters through the years.
None of those guys hit 6 in a row.
They didn't.
I bet you still remember that feeling.
They were smart enough to keep shooting that night.
Yeah.
I stopped for some reason.
Yeah, that's great. Looks like you're still in pretty good shape, Coach. You ever get out there and run around with the kids?
Not really. Not really as much as I used to.
Your playing days are over.
About in my mid-30s, we were playing pickup in the spring. And we were playing 5-on-5, and there was some shenanigans going on behind us. And I went down, and it felt like I got hit with a ball in the back of the leg. I looked left. The boys are going down the court to score on me, basically. And I'm rolling around on the ground. I turn around, getting ready to yell at the kid who threw the ball at my leg. There was nobody there. I got sniped by my Achilles. So I snapped my Achilles playing in the spring with the boys. And ever since then, I'm very hesitant to get out there and run again with them.
I don't blame you. That's a tough injury to recover from.
Yeah, it was not a proud moment in my life having to have the high school trainer come and carry me off the court.
I understand. Well, tell us about your staff. I know you can't do this by yourself.
Very, very fortunate to have the staff we have. Coach Jason Cary's been with us since day one, 13 years with me, and I certainly couldn't do it without him. Our junior varsity coach is Oliver Pick, who played with us, who was a friend of some of your children. And then we have Jalen Jones, first year on staff, helping out Oliver. And then our freshman coach is Jonah Tomer, He's also a first-year coach for us. And at the varsity level, we have Matthew Keyser helping us out this year, who is a young man from the area, friends with former players, came highly recommended, and he's doing a great job for us. So this is our first year having a first-time freshman coach and a first-time JV coach. We've been fortunate to have continuity in staff for most of those years. But as anybody running any organization will tell you, when you have quality people come and take them from you. And a lot of our staff members have moved on to bigger and better things for their own personal lives, and well-deserved.
Well, what a treat to have Jason Cary with you. It looks like he's had some prior experience coaching at the varsity level as a head coach and assistant coach.
Yeah,
of the program.
He's been doing it a long time. I think he's been coaching high school sports since the 90s. He was a head coach at La Quinta High School in the early 2000s. He's been an assistant varsity coach. He's been a JV coach. He knows what it takes to run a varsity program. He knows how much help and support I need to do it.
Right, good. Well, enough about you. Let's talk about these kids in your team. You put a great product on the floor. Maybe we start with, I know it's very important to you, the academics. How are they all doing at school? I know typically your players achieve a pretty high collective GPA, and that's always a priority, which is a good thing.
Pretty impressive group. They're all better basketball players than me, and they're all better students than me. I don't know if these kids would even want to hang out with me if I was in high school, because they're all super bright, super hardworking. They're great athletes. They know how to balance their schedules. I couldn't tell you how many kids have over a 4.0 GPA. That stuff gets added up here in a couple weeks. But the great kids, great students, always doing the right thing in the classroom, and we hope that has something to do with us as coaches, but it's really them as young people. We try to attract the kids that are competitive and unselfish. If you're messing around in the classroom, you're being selfish, and that's not the kind of student athlete we want.
Right. Well, grades are certainly a priority, so that's a good thing to hear they're doing well. So you're off to another great start to the season. I think you're 13-5. Is that right?
13-5. Ball's bouncing our way a little bit.
You got another opportunity for a 20-win season. It won't be easy, but the opportunity's certainly there.
It won't be easy.
Yeah.
We got 10 games left, and we'll see what happens along the way. Every game's going to be a battle, so we'll start with tonight versus Huntington Beach and see what happens.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe we can recap the season. Look back a little bit to some of your successes, and then look forward to what we have left. We're in league play now. It's more and more difficult.
Sounds great. It's a whole different year for us, being that last year we had 6 league games, and now this year we have 12. Mm-hmm. And don't ask me to explain that. As smart as our kids are, it's hard to explain that to them, where you only had 6 league games that really mattered for your season, and now you got 12 league games, and you already played 2 of them before you even had winter break.
Right.
So we were very fortunate to sneak one out at Marina, and then we lost a tough one to Fountain Valley. So we feel very fortunate to be 1-1, going against a tough Huntington Beach game tonight with 10 games left to go in league. So it is nice to be, okay, here we go now. Now league is still going, even though it's already started.
Right.
It's nice to be able to turn on that league mentality for us. And each school is different, but for us, we like to just play the league games. Mm-hmm. I think Los Al's got 3 non-league games between now and the end of the season. Our preseason, if you will, or our non-league schedule is done. We played in 4 tournaments. I thought we did pretty well. We finished second in 2 of them. We went 2-2 in another one, and we were fortunate to win the Garden Grove Loera tournament. Right. So it was a very successful preseason for us in terms of wins and losses and trying to find our identity.
Right. So it looks like something changed with the Sunset League. There used to be 2 divisions. There was a surf and a wave, and they eliminated that. So is that the reason that
the number
of league games increased?
Exactly. We had the 2 4-team leagues, and then Laguna Beach moved on to a different league, and now there's 7 of us. But still the same idea. So with the surf and the wave, the top 2 in both leagues got to go to the playoffs, 4 teams. So it's still the same thing. You're trying to finish in the top 4 of the 7-team league for a guaranteed playoff spot. Yeah. Okay. So same idea, but to go from those, 3 league opponents to now all of a sudden 6 league opponents, there's going to be a little adjustment here the next couple of weeks.
Right. Okay. Well, maybe talk to us a little bit about how you prepare for these upcoming games and different opponents. What goes into that process? Is there scouting involved?
It's scouting, it's film, And what we try to do, and we usually have the Wednesday, Friday game schedule, and this week's unique with the Friday, Saturday game schedule. But for the most part, you got a Wednesday game, you got a Friday game. Well, that Friday game, you're only going to get a day to prepare for that Friday opponent. You only get that Thursday. So that's the way we treat the Wednesday game. Right. I know there's some other coaches who might do it differently, but for us, the Monday's all about us. The Tuesday about us and our opponent, and obviously Thursday about us and our opponent. So that's just kind of the rhythm we try to establish for the guys. This week's unique with them being out of school, but hopefully, for us as coaches, we love it because we're college coaches, we're pro coaches for a couple of days here. Right. We don't have day jobs, Right. We just get to coach a little bit. So it's fun for us, and we hope it's fun for the kids because we got up early this morning. The guys came in. We had a quick, efficient shoot around, less than an hour. We broke down film on Huntington Beach. Done with that in about 20, 30 minutes, and now the boys get to go and enjoy their day and hopefully come back tonight and be ready to play. Tomorrow, same idea with the Saturday night Los Al game. We'll try to get them out of bed and get them to the gym. Hopefully everybody's on time, and We'll come in and we'll break a sweat a little bit, talk a little bit about Los Al, and then get on the bus at 4:45, head up to Los Al, see what happens.
Right. Well, the big game of the year, and this year you get 2 looks at them, is Corona Del Mar, right? Do we always play them twice in a season?
You know what? 2 years ago we did. We were in the same wave league, and then last year we were in separate leagues. We were in the surf, and they were in the wave, so it was just one league. It was just one game that wasn't even a league game. So this year it's back to being 2 league games, which is great. That's the way it was when I was in high school. So it was for a long, long time, and then we got separated for a few years there, and between the early 2000s and the mid 2000 teens, and then they've been back in our league since then. So it's a lot of fun when you're playing that game as a league game.
Yes.
Obviously, the community loves it when you play no matter what, but it means a lot more for coaches and for the guys too. I'd like to think that it's a league game.
Yes.
It's a league game. It matters towards your season. It's not just some random league game. So we're excited about that. It'll be a tough league game. 2 tough league games, obviously.
It might be tough to get tickets to those games. That's one of the better high school rivalries there are, I would say.
People always find a way in. But the Corona Del Mar Newport Harbor rivalry is as much fun as any in the county. I know that with our league schedule this year, there's going to be some buys. Yeah. We'll have a bye next Friday, so we'll probably go out and send our coaches around the league to watch some teams play a little bit. And I imagine that night, if there's some coaches, I'm not sure who has to buy that night, but whoever does, I'm sure they'll come and watch that game just because it's such a great atmosphere. Again, whether they're playing football, volleyball, soccer, whatever the game is, the Corona Del Mar versus Newport Harbor, it's a lot of fun for the kids.
Absolutely, absolutely. I already got it on my calendar. January 15th is at home and February 4th is away, right?
If you say so. I'm worried more about Huntington Beach right now.
Yeah. One game at a time. I like that approach. Well, the games I have watched this season, it seems like you're going deeper on the bench. You got a deep bench. Big contribution from them. Are you going deeper this season?
You'd like to.
Yeah.
You'd like to get guys in there the best you can. But then again, your first 5 is pretty strong.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get them back on the floor as soon as they're rested as well. So it's hard to manage minutes sometimes, especially when you have those elite athletes like the Jack Berrys who need to be on the court. And then you're trying to get some guys in there to get guys rested, and it's like anything, you got to make the most of your time on the floor.
Right, and there's not a lot of time to go around, is there? It's a short
tough.
game.
And if the referees aren't blowing their whistle, it's a really fast game.
Right, because the clock's running.
Yeah. So we try to get guys in there, try to keep guys as fresh as possible, and it is that hard thing to teach sometimes about make the most of your minutes.
Yes.
You got to get out there and make it count.
Impact the game,
change the game some way or another, get out there and be noticed. And I think we have a lot of kids this year who try to do that when they step on the floor. They know that they're not just filling a time spot. They're out there and they have a role to play.
Seems like these high school kids get cheated a little bit with only a 32-minute game, 8-minute quarters. College, you have 40, and the pros, you have 48. I wonder why the high school game is so short. I wonder if we could do anything to...
The referees are working hard.
Yeah, they want to go home.
They're hearing a lot. They're hearing a lot from me. They're hearing a lot from the other coaches, and I'm sure some of the parents are saying some things to them as well. So any longer, I don't know if we'd have any officials out there willing to listen to our complaints.
Yeah, that might be a tough one to change. Well, so what's the plan tonight for Huntington Beach? You got them figured out?
I don't know if I do. I hope our guys have it
Yeah,
figured out
good.
a little bit. Sometimes the coaches just get in the way. So we'll try to give the guys a game plan to try to stick to a little bit. And then, you're a fan of the game. It changes so much during the course of the night. We just hope our guys are ready to play. Being out of school, we hope that doesn't bother them. Being a home game, we hope that helps us out a little bit. Huntington's good. They play hard. They're very well coached. They're very talented. They got 5 guys on the floor who can all get you a bucket when needed. So you got to guard your guy. You got to guard your guy. I know sometimes in high school athletics you can kind of find somebody to leave alone a little bit or maybe encourage somebody else to shoot. Not Huntington Beach. They're going to put 5 threats on the floor all 32 minutes. They go into their bench. They got guys that can play. Their starters can all play. So it'll be a battle. It'll be a battle, just like every Sunset League game.
Coach, let's just review some more of the players. We talked about
Great.
Jack a little bit. There's 4 other starters that surround him. There's a bench that contribute a lot to the team. I know Jack was all-tournament in the last Tustin tournament. Owen got a nod, all-tournament selection. Let's talk about the rest of the starting lineup and some of the bench and what they do for you.
Yeah, that's great. Jack is a unique athlete in that he does a tremendous job of making those around him better. Right? I grew up in a household that loved sports, and my parents loved to point out that the great ones make everybody else better. And Jack certainly does that for our guys. However, they're pretty darn good athletes. Gavin Guy has been on varsity for 2 years. 2 years to go, probably going to finish up with the games played record. Tremendous athlete, tremendous baseball player, tremendous competitor, great shooter, very unselfish, very long, hard to prepare for, just a great athlete, great kid. You mentioned Owen Sokala. Owen was on varsity last year, probably did not play as much as he would have liked. He's gotten bigger, he's gotten stronger, he loves the weight room. I know earlier you and I were talking about what a nice shot he has. He can score inside, he can get you a bucket at the basket, he can hit a 3 for you. He's playing great for us right now, especially after responding to not playing a whole lot as a sophomore. We have senior Nolan Payne, who kind of helps Jack bring the ball up the court a little bit. Mr. Fundamental.
Yes.
I think if you wanted to run a kids camp in the summer, you'd bring in Nolan to demonstrate how to do a jump stop, how to pivot, how to take care of the ball, how to play defense. Just plays the game the right way. And then our workman, who unfortunately was sick the other night in our game against Edison, Nash McNown, just plays hard. Just plays hard. He just plays until it looks like he's gonna, pass out there. So we got to do a good job as coaches, as keeping our eye on him. And you hope that the other guys see that. When one kid is playing that hard and you're out there with him and you're not playing as hard as him, it shows. So it makes your life so much easier as a coach to have a kid who's just playing as hard as he can. And the old coaching cliche, he'd run through a wall for you, but he'd stop to put the wall back together. He's just that kind of young man. He's a great kid. And then off the bench, getting the most minutes coming off the bench, Nico Solomon, senior shooter, comes in for us, knocks down shots, plays a little D for us. And then Dean Davis comes in off the bench. Great varsity basketball player, been with us for a couple years, can get to the basket, can defend, kind of extension of the coaches on the floor with his leadership. So we're very fortunate to have kind of those 7 guys right there. And then the other guys to do a great job. We got Marcel Aguilar, James Coffey, Leighton Torribio, Tony Hatziris, we got Joe DiCarlo, we got Cade Clark. And then we're very fortunate to have our big Vaughn Casey, big lefty, returning varsity basketball player, coming in off the bench, does a great job of defending and knocking down some shots for us. And then this year we have a freshman up with us, Oliver Aguero, who's a tremendous water polo player, but also a very gifted basketball player. And we're very, very fortunate to have him up with us. He's learning a lot. Great kid, and we sure hope he's having a lot of fun because we're having a lot of fun with him on varsity. Being a freshman on varsity is tough, but he's fitting in well, and he's doing a great job for us.
Yeah, you don't see that often, a freshman playing varsity. He's got a bright future. He's got 3 good years ahead of him.
We're excited to have him. He's got some of those things that are hard to teach, that feel for the game that's hard to teach.
The intangibles. Yeah, it seems like your players, they are very athletic. They almost play positionless where they have skill level at different positions, which certainly helps and maybe it goes a long way towards your offense, which is kind of
we were
space
kind
the
of
floor.
chatting earlier a little bit. You know, we ran into Coach Todd there, and he was talking about who's your big guy this year. Well, we don't really get big guys at Newport Harbor very often.
Right.
You know, we'd love to have them, but it just doesn't happen very often. So we're always going to be between that 5'5" to 6'4" range,
Right.
and you hope that everybody can just play all 5 spots on the floor. You hope everybody can shoot it a little bit. You hope everybody can handle it a little bit, and you just positionless basketball.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we had a 7-footer someday, we'd adjust to that. We were fortunate to have a 7-footer our first year in charge, and he made us look pretty smart. So we have evolved over time, just in case another one comes back. We're ready to go.
Rakestraw?
Yeah, Kevin Rakestraw. Yeah, he made us look pretty smart with 7 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you for saying that. We do pride ourselves on all 5 guys being able to handle the ball and be able to play positionless basketball. And it makes you hard to defend. We'd like to think having 5 threats. I think that's the key in our tough league. You have to be on the floor, and the other team has to guard you. And I think if you look at all 7 teams in our league, each team's they got a guy who can score 20, but they also got 4 guys around him who can score 10 to 12 very easily.
That's right. And it seems like you guys may not be tall, but you are athletic. And a lot of you guys can jump. I love the alley-oop plays it.
Yeah.
You guys run.
It's you know, we're a high school, public school, you know, Dr. Bolton Lexus says comprehensive public high school playing with neighborhood kids. Mm-hmm. And we need the volleyball guys. We need the baseball guys. We hope to get the football guys back here now that Coach Burns is in charge. We need multi-sport athletes. And those guys that are with us in the fall, we love the weight room in the fall. And then if they move on to another sport in the spring, great. We'll get them back in the fall. We'll get them back in the summer. And we love the weight room. We're very fortunate to have Coach Evan Chalmers as on-staff strength coach. Right. And he does a great job keeping our guys strong, keeping our guys loose. He does a great job with the mental game. You know, our guys are doing some stretching. Our guys are doing some yoga on game days now. So we're very fortunate to have kids who want to take care of their bodies, know how fortunate they are to have access to a weight room, to get bigger and to get stronger. And we don't really have to push them in the weight room. They're lucky to be there, and they take advantage of that. So, and we're very lucky to have a strength coach on staff.
Seems like you place emphasis on your defense. You guys have always been strong defensively. Who would you identify as your better defenders, maybe better rebounders also?
I appreciate that. Like the old saying goes, right? You can always count your defense. Can't always count on your shot going in, but you can always count on your defense. And a lot of rules defensively for the Tars. A lot of rules. We're kind of mean on defense. Offense, there's one rule: go score.
Yeah. You
know, that's hard for a high school kid to understand sometimes. Wait a minute, my job is just to go score. Aren't you supposed to tell me how to score? No, go score. I don't care. We don't care how you do it. Just go put the ball in the hoop.
Right.
Defensively, all kinds of rules, all kinds of restrictions, all kinds of guidelines, and we're very structured defensively. And that can be hard on some teams. But this year's team, senior-led team, a lot of guys been with us for 4 years. You know, Jack's obviously our scorer, but he also guards the other team's best player.
Yes.
And I think guys feed off of that. Guys know that, hey, if our scorer is guarding a good player, then I got to guard a good player too. So you love being able just to guard the ball, but if we do have to help, hopefully we have our rotations in place. It's great just to be able to guard your guy. Easier said than done. Yeah. So hopefully you have our rotations in place, and we're going to need them tonight against Huntington Beach.
Well, there's something to be said for having two-way players on your roster, players that can play both offense and defense. And Jack is one of those. Gavin's one of those. What a treat. And in a 32-minute game, they're not going to get too tired. And at their age, I don't think they're going to get too tired. So
they're pretty tough.
Yeah.
They're pretty tough. They're pretty resilient young men. And, you know, like all of us, they don't want to admit they're tired sometimes. Yeah. So that's where it's our job to realize that, hey, you need a break for a little bit. Trust your teammate to go in there and do their job, and we'll get you back on the floor as soon as we can. But, yeah, I think, you know, having a kid like Nash McGowan who plays that hard, you know, he is our big, but he'll guard a guard, mm-hmm. right? And then Gavin's long, but he'll guard a guard.
Right.
You know, Nolan's not too tall, but he loves the weight room. He'll guard a post a little bit. So being able to match up based on strengths as opposed to height, we're very fortunate to be able to do that because our guys are pretty darn tough.
Okay, Coach. I think that's all we have time for today. I know the tip-off is just a few hours away, so we'll wrap it up and let you prepare for that. And
Appreciate it. Thanks again for having Newport Harbor boys basketball on Sunset Rewind. This is great, and thanks for your time.
thank you, Coach.